just going to make Sabine the main character. It's not going to be Ezra. Am I wrong?
They weren't in the Clone Wars.
Oh no, you're right. That was the other one. And then I don't know who they'll make. They don't make it all about Ashoka or something. But I mean, they won't let it be about Anakin.
Well, Ahsoka was one of the better things about the Clone Wars with Anakin having a Padawan. But I mean, it was just a good story all around because there was a lot of different threads here and there.
Oh, I agree. And do you think those threads would stay untouched?
Oh, hell no.
So if they do a live-action Clone Wars, they're going to poison the well and take a good story and screw it up. Because they've done that with everything. They haven't been able to take a single thing and not screw it up. The only time they got something right was literally when Favreau made a new character and told a story. But they have everything from the previous franchise, they've ruined. They have not executed. They messed up Obi-Wan. They did stupid stuff in Obi-Wan with Padme. Like, oh, you know Obi-Wan? That's weird how you reacted when you act like you barely knew each other. It's like, oh, remember that time that you spent most of your childhood years with me and I saved your life several times and showed you the Force and all that? Yeah, apparently, bad memory on that. Not Padme, on that. Leia. You know, girl got a real bad memory there. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I don't know. I don't care.
Also, Luke got attacked by a Sith. Amazing he didn't remember that. He acted like he saw a lightsaber for the first time. Wasn't his first time seeing a lightsaber. Remember? She went in there and tried to kill him. Got kidnapped.
Went right in his face.
Anyway, Star Wars is dead to me. So let's actually get the show started.
Well, if it's dead to you, it ain't dead to a lot of people. Be quiet or I'll make us talk about the Doom Creator. Break your heart.
Anyways, let's get started. Welcome to Dicejunkies. I'm Xenodamus. I'm here with
Q.
And on Skype.
Yeah, Bloodaxe.
All right, let's get started.
Sorry for my attire if I look particularly snazzy, but, family day. Spent a little time with the fam. Had to temporarily look like a respectable person. Mm-hmm. I fooled everybody. And, people in the restaurant were looking like, that guy looks like he's somebody that, wouldn't say terrible things on YouTube. And they're like, they don't know.
Yeah, it happens. Anyway. Let's get started. Where do we want to start, man? Poor old Microsoft.
Poor old Microsoft.
It's
good and bad news for Microsoft. It's good news with Sweet Baby Inc. Well, good news for us, which is bad for them. Good news with Paramount. Bad news for that. Hilarious news for Disney. But, also potentially good news because that also covered what so good and bad news for Disney. Hilarious news for Concord.
I guess we'll start with TV and then we'll move into games.
And the closest thing,
since we have a transition
to
point
Beelzebub and Satan having in a panel together. The Axis of Evil.
We'll start with that.
Start with two different Masters of Evil getting together to trade.
I mean, I don't think I could stand going there, but I wouldn't mind being just a fly on the wall for
There's no way people aren't going to be yelling crap. No, they're missing somebody though. They're missing KK. Now, if they had KK, they would have the trifecta, and it would be the Axis of Evil.
So Star Trek and Doctor Who showrunners to appear together at Comic-Con panel celebrating Intergalactic Friendship Day.
Kurtzman and R.T. Davis. Two of the people that hate you the most. If you like the franchises, they were over.
Now, which ones did Alex Kurtzman
Kurtzman
do?
is the one that did all the worst parts of Star Trek. Except maybe Brave New Worlds. I hear it's okay. But this is the guy that did Star Trek Discovery. He did Lower Decks. He did Picard. Oh, God. Every season but the last of that.
The first season of Brave New Worlds was good. Second season kind of didn't do well for me. But Picard season 3 has done well.
I said this all except the last season of Picard.
Yeah.
But the first two, dude?
Terrible.
Dude, stomach churning. It's rare a show disgusts me with how bad it is.
Now, I have heard Strange New Worlds, though.
That's what we were saying. Strange New Worlds.
Yeah, is pretty good.
Or Brave. I may have called it Brave New World, but it's Strange New World. Excuse me. I called it.
God, the second season got away the formula of the first season. I didn't really like season 2 of Brave New Worlds. The first season I really did enjoy because it was more episodic.
Yeah, I was calling it wrong. It's not Brave New Worlds, it's Strange New Worlds. But
Whatever.
like, he is the source of like the worst of Star Trek we've seen in a while.
Well, like I said, I mean, he's apparently got some good, and honestly, he learned from his mistakes from Picard, from what I understand.
Somebody stepped in, man. Somebody stepped in.
At least, I put him less on the destroyer list than.
I don't know, because here's the reason I put him on it. Because he has expressed a dislike for Star Trek. He's another of those guys that when they talk to him enough, they caught him on every stuff saying he doesn't really like Star Trek.
Maybe
and it's like, why are you working on something?
Maybe he grew as a person.
Maybe someone threatened his life if he lost him any more
money. As a matter
of
fact, maybe he is like the antithesis to Russell T. Davis, because Russell T. Davis started off good,
true,
and is ending horribly.
Yes,
but yet
horribly. That's we have to roll into that.
Alex Kurtzman started off horribly and is ending better.
Better, but not good. Better.
I haven't watched it, or
Hey, I don't know. I'm not saying he could be average. They're still average, but not good. Average. But here's the problem. He's gonna meet R.T. Davis. He may corrupt him back to the fuchsia side. You know what I'm saying? Get him back on the fuchsia side of the Force. And next thing you know, we get some weird crap in Picard 4. And it just gets really,
you're
Strange
right,
New Worlds gets really strange.
You could definitely put KK in the middle because she started off bad. And
hey, we got to give her credit. Unlike these two people, you want anything you can give KK?
She was consistent.
Consistently bad. It is amazing. She hasn't managed to really get worse. She's maintained a level of stupidly bad that she's consistently riding.
It's like with our powers combined, we create KK.
Put a chick in it and make her. But like seriously, they're just missing like Kathleen Kennedy, and then that would be the 3 worst. We hate your franchise, we want to ruin it. There's a few others, but not big enough. And we're going to cover all the franchise ruining. We got most of the franchise ruining covered here. But
that is the dumbest name for a penalty.
Friendship is universal.
Intergalactic Friendship Day.
So, yeah, and there's no way they're not going to get heckled. Like, they're going to have security with like shock batons because they're going to get heckled. I fully agree. I mean, like Flynn said, but see, Flynn, that's the real issue. Despite what people, like, we like to fire up and have fun here. We say some stuff that's controversial, but in reality, as we've many times said, we're chill. We're actually really chill. It's really just ego. I mean, the reason they fail, as I've pointed out, I won't do it all over again. The reason they fail is not because what they're trying to say can't work, what they're trying to do can't work. It's the ego. It's not willing to listen to anybody who can help you do better. You know, multiple heads talking to multiple people will help you rationalize. Somebody needs to look at you like this dude and that dude over there. Oh, now you put him over there. You know, they'll look at me and tell me if I'm saying something, they go like, that don't make no damn sense. They even do it when they're wrong. It's annoying. They'll call me out and I'm right and they'll still do it. But they'll call me out when I'm wrong real quick. And I'll do the same to him. You need people. Like my boy, me and Flynn, we grew up a long time together. We clearly don't agree on Assassin's Creed Shadows. But you know what? We'll send each other links. We'll debate it. But we're adults. We can do that. If you're not willing, because you know what? He made me look some stuff now. At least I'm checking. I'm not just spewing stuff. He made me start fact checking. Because you need people to counter you. That's what I'm trying to say. If you're not willing to listen to anybody, you can get a really stupid idea and think it's good and make an ass out of yourself. You know what I'm saying? Really bad.
That's a reflection of the world as a.
Oh yeah, we're not going there. We're going to give you a free one. We're not doing that this weekend. But that's my point. So it's ego, and worst of all, you got 2 huge egos together that'll definitely look and go, "I thought Space Babies was great." Yeah, and I thought turning Picard into an old robot that sucks is great too. They're just dumb ideas bouncing off of each other. You put two idiots in a room, you're not going to get smart. It isn't like that. Two negatives don't make a positive, man. It makes more negative. You know what I'm saying? So that's why. But if they had a few people to go, I like what you're trying to do, but could we make them a little bit less horrible and hated? Could we make the characters a little likable so people will actually have a positive reflection on these representations? No? Okay. Then, yeah, have her look at the guy and tell him, you wouldn't know, you have a penis. You know, just say something stupid that's instead of going, you don't know I'm experienced, I know what I'm doing. Don't just contradict. It's the way you say things. They don't do that. They're ego-driven, massively. RT was saying that he has astronomical numbers amongst young watchers. Roll into it. Let's just show him the numbers. Let's do it. It's perfect roll in. Show him the numbers. Yeah, astronomical number. He literally referred to it. It's in his article. It's astronomical numbers among young audiences. He does have astronomical numbers, doesn't he, Bloodaxe? He's got the top 5, don't he, Bloodaxe? He's got astronomical. Astronomically the worst. This article is covering about bad Doctor Who is doing. This is a list of the 10 least watched, lower audience number shows of Doctor Who, period. Yeah, overall, hundreds of episodes. Bloodaxe, how many of these do you think are from just the last season, which only has 8 episodes?
Well, if we hadn't talked about it before the show, I would have guessed all of them. But then you told me there's not enough to actually account for 10, so I'm going to guess 5.
They indeed have half of the lowest watched episodes in just the season. Hundreds of episodes, they somehow have 50% of the least watched episodes. That's ridiculous. There's only 8 episodes. You made 8 episodes and 5 of them are literally the worst. But you're claiming you have astronomical numbers.
And here's the other thing.
You can't. You have the 5 worst.
5 of the other ones on here, or 4 of the other ones on here, are from the 1980s and 1960s before tracking was as
effective.
Yeah.
And when it was only available on BBC.
Yeah.
They are literally competing against and losing to episodes of Doctor Who when it was only showing on the BBC. And when it aired in America, it was airing at like 1 in the morning. I know, because I have the can't sleep thing. My brain. Insomnia. I've had it since I was a kid. I sleep better during the day. So I used to be up. And when all the other stations would play the national anthem and go to static, I'd turn on the BBC and watch Hogan's Heroes. I'd watch Benny Hill. I would watch Blackadder. Several other shows, Monty Python, and I would watch Doctor Who. And Doctor Who specifically played super late, 4th Doctor. So, yes, they went back to 1969. It only beat 1 episode in 1969.
Yeah.
You're so bad, there were less people alive then. There were less people who had TVs. Back then, TVs were expensive. So it's like, this is ridiculous to say you have astronomical numbers. The ego, this is insanity. To go, we're having astronomical numbers. You can't be having astronomical numbers.
Well, here's the other one. The other one that they beat was one that aired on a Sunday, which we also know has generally lower numbers anyway.
People are usually doing other stuff, football.
Yeah.
So this is ridiculous to say this. You have to be so delusional. So put this guy in a room with Kurtzman. He will corrupt him like the friggin' T-virus, man. It's just, it's just going to grow over him, man, and just watch his eyes turn black. Because that's how crazy R.T. Davis is. So you're all right. I will, see, this is what we can do, adults. You're right, R.T. Davis is the more evil. Because Kurtzman isn't deluded. He has pulled good numbers. Even Star Trek Discovery. I hate Star Trek Discovery. Star Trek Discovery pulled numbers. I can say that. And Stranger Worlds pulled numbers. Picard pulled some numbers. In fact, it pulled better numbers than all of this. I'm almost sure it beat all of this. So beat all of season Nakuti. I don't know the number of it. So
1.
That's how bad. Season 1.
They started over.
It looks like it because they got started. No, they can't even beat the beginning of Doctor Who. So, and that's my point. That's what we're trying to say is, like, the delusional state he's in means you don't want him to touch anybody who might actually have a bit of talent, because like you said, RT hasn't made anything of value in a long time. And Kurtzman's pulled a couple of hits.
RT seems to be in a destructive setting right now. Like, I think he just wants to watch the world burn.
I think he's burned his own legacy to the ground.
Yeah.
It does feel like that. So, I mean, it's ridiculous. We're not going to keep going on it, but we just want to point that out. Like, we had the numbers. But they're saying that the reason we brought this up, go back to the main article, is that they say that Disney is finally thinking about
getting out of that. And we mostly pulled this because it had the numbers of the episodes, and we had talked about the numbers before, and this actually gave us some concrete numbers. But, I mean, I think, if Disney wanted to start making good moves, I'd be getting away with this real quick. I'd be running.
Yeah, what you got on that, Bloodaxe?
Yeah, I'm trying to find the last thing that Russell T. Davis did that I've actually heard of before.
We got coming for him. That's going to take a while.
Yeah.
Well, no, here we can talk about, like, Zeno didn't know why they had it. He thought they got Doctor Who on purpose, which they may have. But you got it?
Torchwood early 2000s was probably the last thing he did that was actually I've heard of before. I'm told it was good, but I haven't actually seen it.
I enjoyed the Torchwood series.
I mean, and it's kind of like Ryan Johnson, Knives Out and the things he's good at, he does a good job with. And same thing with Kurtzman. He did a good job with Xena Warrior Princess and Hercules. And hell, we started watching Fringe, a show he did in the early 2000s. Well done, but he doesn't know Star Trek, and he should.
No, I mean, my issue with giving him too much credit for Torchwood is the same issue I have with giving people too much credit for the David Tennant run of Doctor Who. Partially, those those series ran well because they had a really good actor as lead. David Tennant could carry even bad writing. And same thing with my name. His name has lost. His guy from Torchwood, Captain Jack, whatever. His,
Barrowman.
Barrowman.
John Barrowman.
Mm-hmm. I like John Barrowman.
John Barrowman was the lead of Torchwood. He could carry, even with a bad script.
I went to one of his panels, and I didn't know him very well before that.
Yeah.
But at his panel, he was amusing, and I mean, I didn't expect him to be he was doing something unique. If you know John Barrowman's panel,
Yeah.
But he was entertaining. It was hilarious, and I said, I like this guy because the thing is, despite like I said, what y'all think
If
about
you don't
us,
know
we
John
care.
Barrowman's panels, you can check out our channel. Just,
We talk about it,
Well, we actually have some clips from his panel.
Yeah. And I did not, and they were having fun messing with me because they knew I didn't know. And they're just like, yo, Q, let's go check out John Barrowman. I'm like, oh, Captain Jack, that's the cool space captain, right? I didn't even know on the show about him. I did not know that his character was I didn't know any of that. So I went in green, and him and our editor, ex-editor Michelle were just like, this is going to be fun. Turns out, though, freaking charming fellow.
Yeah.
And that's where you might be shocked. We don't care as much as you think we do about what you're into. But he was an amazing guy. I could see him pushing Torchwood.
Yeah.
And you know what that just tells me? That was the same thing for Kurtzman. Because think about it. Dude, the writing for Hercules and Xena would suck. But Lucy Lawless, Lucy Lawless and Kevin Sorbo were charismatic guys.
Yeah.
And oh my God, they brought in our boy. Oh God, no, oh no, I'm a sinner. I can't believe it. No. You know who I'm talking about. How could I get Ash from Evil Dead? Atomicles.
Bruce Campbell.
Bruce Campbell. Oh, I'm so sorry, Bruce. I can't believe it, man. My brain failed me because I'm a huge Bruce Campbell fan.
Yeah.
Bruce Campbell, oh man, he stole the show. But also Kevin Sorbo was a fun guy. And Lucy Lawless was amazing. And I loved Xena the Warrior Princess. Writing, especially the later seasons, nonsensical as hell. But it was still entertaining. Because like you said, a good actor can make anything work. But that's just the point, though, is that, Disney is thinking about bowing out. And what I was telling him is that we pulled it up is that, they really got Doctor Who in a package with Bluey. The kids show about the blue dogs, Australian dogs. And they didn't really want this. They were kind of like, you're going to take this too and pay for it. And now they're finally going, we're bowing out. Because Bluey is like, oh man, it's huge, man. My kid, we used to watch it. He's obviously too old for it now, but like I seen the numbers and it's knocking it out the park. It's probably doing bigger than Mickey Mouse numbers. I think it's beating out the like Disney Clubhouse.
Yeah, ours is doing amazing.
But they got this trash with it.
Yeah. Stories weren't great, but the character,
like I said, the characters were well done because all the actors. Let me just not say that too. All the actors were good, actually. Most of the actors on that show were fun. There was no actor on that show I'd say I hated. They were entertaining across the board. But that's what you can do when you have some talent that can take your trash and turn it into something, consumable, which not everybody can do. And thus, franchises being canceled, you say?
I've actually heard some good things about this show. I know there's the whole helmet thing, which a lot of people were upset about. But there were some...
More than just a helmet.
I know, but there were some high points about this show from what I've gathered.
The fight scenes.
I haven't watched it.
The fight scenes were good. They actually, a lot of people pulled them by themselves because they did put effort. Now, you get like one a season dang there, but they really tried. Like, they're well done.
And this doesn't actually mean the end of the show. They do say Xbox is reportedly trying to find a new partner for the live-action series.
And then start over?
Who knows?
You want to reboot something, need to reboot that. But one of the reasons we brought this up is that one of the lines that the actor said, which goes back to how, just as we said, a good actor can make something, they can also break it, is he was noted to be telling people, he said, if you don't know why we need to take John's helmet off all the time, how important that is to getting to know John and the difference between John and the Master Chief, then this isn't a show for you. You don't get it. And I was telling Bloodaxe here, and Bloodaxe will back me up. Xeno's a little more of a devil's advocate. But Bloodaxe, is willing to be as much an a-hole as I am. And, like, what did I say, Bloodaxe, about, who's right between the fans and the actors?
Well, I mean, it's the fans of the game know more about Master Chief than the people that are actually doing the show. And if a fan of a video game watches something, just like when we watch the Book of Boba Fett, that's not Boba Fett. And we don't even have to have a reason, just other than they don't take the helmet off because that's part of the mystique, that's part of the aura, it's part of the mystery. And we don't need to get to know Master Chief because Master Chief's actions speak louder than his words.
Absolutely. Now, that's not what I said, though. Like, what I actually said in particular was, what'd you say, Bloodaxe?
So, no, that's just my point of view on it.
But what I was saying is that you can't tell the fans they're wrong because they're the consumer.
I don't know about that.
No,
I mean,
you can't.
You can and you can't. I mean, for one, you say you can't tell the fans they're wrong, but fans don't agree with each other.
Yeah, but you can't tell the fans they're wrong if you're not a fan. The actor cannot tell people Master Chief is better with his helmet off if the fans, as a whole mostly, say no, he isn't. Because they're the fans. You're making it to be consumed. No one can tell me the best burger for me. If I say I like my burger with cheese, I don't care what you say. For me, it needs to be a cheeseburger. You can't look at me and go, no.
No, I agree with that.
And this is a consumption. You're talking to people who care about Master Chief and are fans of him and telling them he should have his helmet off. They're saying no, and you're saying they're wrong. And now your show is canceled. So guess what? The numbers don't lie.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, but hey, look. I mean, fans can be wrong. I mean, they're wrong with each other all the time. I mean, it's
that's not wrong. That's fans. The fans amongst themselves are still fans versus fans.
I mean, how many times have we, as fans of something, said this is where this is going, and then they come up with something else, and it actually be really good.
Yeah, but usually, in that case, they didn't tell the fans they were wrong. They just presented it.
I mean, I get the attitude. The attitude is wrong. I mean, yeah, you don't mouth off to your fans because, I mean, that's how you lose fans.
Because while that's happened, it's never happened when somebody's done it. Nobody's ever said, you know what the F you're talking about? You fans are all wrong. And then the fan said, he was right. I mean, it doesn't happen.
The best thing to do is just go and try to explain why in your creative piece you did this. And I mean, and then you're just part of the fandom talk then.
Yeah, now you're conversing. And that was the thing, because he separated himself. Because I keep on to say you, I mean as not a fan. You cannot get out here, look at the fan base, and go, none of you know what's good about this.
Yeah.
And think that's going to work. Because it's like, because guess what? They'll unify against you if you're an outsider.
Yeah.
You know how you get the fan to agree on, all the fans agree on something? Do that. That's exactly how, because guess what? That people turn on the outsider. And he stepped out and said, John needs to be known as a person and blah, 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 and you guys don't know. Okay. Show's canceled.
Yeah, and I get, mouthing off to fans has never worked. But, like I said, if you can disagree with the fans, but you got to do it in a way where you insert yourself into the fandom.
Well, then you're not disagreeing with the fans. You're a fan that's sussing in amongst fans.
Yeah, well, now you're just being,
I disagree.
You're playing, You're just playing with the wording.
Well, because you are. But, like, the key point is that, and this is the most important part, though, is that this wasn't a contested point by nearly enough. Most people, the vast majority, did not like that. Even people who liked the show. I mean, people I know who liked the show said, I wish he would stop taking his helmet off.
Yeah.
But
dude, we all like Mandalorian. We wish he didn't take his helmet off.
I know.
I mean,
same thing. Yeah. But that's kind of my point, and it's just shows and the level. Because here's the thing. Because you're saying, well, you should do this. No, you know what you should do? You should show. Have your show be better, and you won't have to explain it. It'll explain itself. I didn't think it was a good idea for our tough guy Mandalorian to get a cute little baby to tote around. Turned out I was wrong. Grogu was awesome. I liked it, and it was entertaining. But when I first saw how rough and tough he was, and I said, he is not going to carry around this friggin' toy mascot. Man, I like Grogu. Okay? Even the scenes with just Grogu being Grogu, surprisingly enough, didn't bother me. But note, they didn't tell me I was wrong. You know what Favreau did? He said, give it a minute. That's all he said. Give it a minute. And I was like, okay. That's what you should do. You should say, well, consume it, and then tell me what you think. But he didn't say consume it. He just said you're wrong. Yeah. If you don't like it, you're wrong. No, you can't be wrong for not liking something if you're a fan. You can't be wrong. You can only not be on the same page as them. But if you don't like something, you don't like it. That's all it is. There is no wrong in your opinion. Opinions aren't wrong. Well, in this suit, there are some cases where you got to watch it. But like when it's consuming media and non-important things like this, you're allowed your opinion. You're allowed to say this show sucks. This song sucks. You're allowed to do that. And nobody can say you're wrong. They can just go, well, everybody else disagrees with you. And that's a valid statement. If you're the one person who feels differently, and heck, that's me. You know what I mean?
Opinions aren't wrong until you can start putting up facts that show that the opinion is flawed. The opinions can be flawed.
It's true. By the way, you see I'm winning in the chat. See,
you're
outnumbered.
This is what I get for being devil's advocate is I lose a lot more.
Well, we're too stubborn to be, because you know that me and Bloodaxe can't pull devil's advocate for 10 seconds before we be like, well, maybe. Nah, you're right, man. They're a bunch of bastards. Then we start demonetizing the channel. Yeah. Actually. Hey, all right, Blood, we'll demonetize the channel so fast.
I mean, speaking of listening to the fans, we had Fallout listening to fans did really well. So I will say, yes, listening to fans is obviously usually the way to go. Now, the only concern with Fallout was the fact that, from what it sounded like, they didn't realize they were listening to fans. So
hey, you know what? So
we'll have to see what happens in the second season of that.
Let's see how much they reduce Maximus's presence in the next season.
But, I mean, we do have a little hope for Microsoft, and, that may mean that they do listen to fans more.
Oh, no, they listen to money. They said it was financially. Check this out. Here's the good Microsoft news. It didn't pop up. You're making me just stand here with my finger pointing at a panel that ain't there.
There, it's there now.
You jackass. I look like, here's the news. He's just looking like, and I'm like, what? I don't have the keyboard.
Sorry, I zoned you out for a minute. I was thinking of something else. I was reading Flynn's comment about the Mandalorian. So, anyways, it's up there now. You can talk.
No, you got it. You talk about it. My timing's off now.
Microsoft reportedly fires DEI team, becoming latest company to ditch woke policy. Little weird on the title for this article. The main thing is they fired part of their DEI team.
No, they fired the team.
Yeah, which then turned around and started spouting off that that Microsoft was full of horrible people.
They bragged about how much that company, how great they were. Complained that Microsoft and other companies are getting rid of DEI and it's this big threat to the DEI initiative. And then they just decided, since they've been fired. By the way, in an email, they literally sent this to sent an email to the company. So real professional. These guys really let you know why you hired them. And then all of a sudden they started saying the executives were racist and sexist and homophobic to us. And everybody's just like, where'd that come from? Oh, wait, you were fired. Just tasteless, man. I mean, and I know, and me and Blood especially, that kills us. I'm not saying don't bother, but the Blood especially is really strict. This guy's the most businesslike person I know. And that kind of unprofessionalism, oh my God, he would have he would have got them out the building so fast, their dang pants would have been on fire. Because that's so unprofessional. When you get let go, you don't send around crazy emails to everybody. You don't go to the news and get IGN to write hit pieces. And you definitely don't start making accusations. You are the DEI team. How the heck are you being discriminated against and you're the guys there to make sure it isn't happening? You are the DEI team.
That was going to be my point, is the fact that talking about how crappy and racist everybody is, well, you failed at your job and deserve to be fired anyway.
Yeah, how did you not suddenly think you need to act on this till you were fired? You're right. Go ahead, man.
Well, yeah, I mean, if that's the case, that, it's all white men and, they're, throwing out slurs and, then you didn't do your job in hiring enough diversity in order to make everything work out. So either way, it's either we're saving money by getting rid of a department that really doesn't need to be here because we're a meritocracy and we're not here to make sure that we're equally represented. I mean, hell, you probably have more Asian guys in the program in the department than you do white guys. So that's not an equal representation. So anyway, I'm glad to see that a lot of these businesses are starting to wake up and realize that it's a waste of money. And I think that's where a lot of this is coming from, is because economics is really tough at the moment and finding ways to cut costs, and you need labor, but you don't need these types of divisions. So start cutting the dead weight.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, like our boy Flynn saying in the chat, now you don't know who to believe. See what happens when you wait until after you're terminated. Yeah. And like I said, if you're a DEI team, you are trained. You were hired because you were professionally trained to keep an eye out for, prevent, and alter the culture and environment to do this. This is what you're there for. This isn't DEI for games. This is for Microsoft. So this is you're here for this. Then you claim you're the victim of all the things they hired you to stop. But you didn't say anything until after you were fired.
Well, and here's a little thing on this. Now, they did say that this is just one of their DEI teams. They do still have their commitment to DEI. And I mean, here's my thing. I mean, diversity, equality, and inclusion, I get you needing that as a corporation, to make sure that there is
HR.
Yeah.
That's what HR is supposed to do.
Basically, yeah. I mean, DEI has got to be, I mean, I don't know how they categorize it in their corporation, but it's got to be a division of HR, I would assume. But everybody went overboard on this because it was one of those things where
they were losing money. They said they did it because they were losing money. Like Microsoft even said, we're losing money. This is not helping business.
And I mean, and this was showing here where if you look, it talks about DEI-related job postings declined by 44% last year. So, I mean, you saw where they overhired DEI. And so this is just continuing to clean house and make the company profitable. Look, Game Pass ain't doing so well right now.
Yeah, we're rolling on that.
The biggest game releases, Starfield, stuff like that, didn't do that well for Microsoft. Microsoft has spent a lot of money on
$150 million on
taking in and taking in these new corporations, buying things. They closed down some studios. of course they're going to clean house on some of this stuff. And I think DEI, is probably a place that got overhired. The fact that these people come out and then immediately start bad-mouthing Microsoft, all that just tells me is Microsoft made the right choice on which DEI to remove.
And this is what frustrates me, because as a minority, it's frustrating that they hired you. You had an opportunity to try to do something good. You wasted money. You managed to be unprofitable. And then when they had to downsize, you act like this.
Well, I mean, it's hard to judge. It's hard to judge a profit margin, though.
Let me speak as a minority on this, though, because I'm being serious here. It doesn't make us look good. Because what it does is it makes it look like hiring inclusive style or trying to be equity is bad. And that's what frustrates me, because you're creating this image that now, even though I might not be like trying to come in and change the environment, when I walk in the office for a job interview, they might be hesitant. Because they just got rid of this guy that was causing a lot of trouble and badmouth the company. You make it almost look like it's a bad idea to hire inclusively, because the last inclusive people they hired didn't make the company money, raised a ruckus, and then when they left, they gave the company a black eye. You're giving people reasons to be exclusive. That's literally the opposite. Because guess what? That's the message. I'm sorry, but if I'm running a business and if I decide, you know what, my business needs to have more of insert demographic, and I hire that demographic heavily, and my business starts bombing, and then I'm finally like, this isn't working, I need to get some other people in here, and I say, I got to let you guys go, and they go out and badmouth you on top of that, I'm like, I ain't hiring no more of them. I'm sorry. It's going to be your immediate thought.
Once again, that's the immediate reaction of overdoing something. Mm-hmm. DEI should not be telling you, hey, you don't need to hire any more white people, or you don't need to hire any more Asian people. You need to hire this demographic. That isn't what they should be telling you. They should be telling you, hey, we were reviewing your hiring practices, and we've noticed that even though you had viable, you missed out on these opportunities possibly. You don't want to ever lower, not take good candidates because of
what you're really supposed to do, is Bloodaxe said it well, is you're actually supposed to be enforcing the meritocracy. Because in a meritocracy, you don't hire based on race.
We've gone way outside
that's not what's happening.
Yeah, we've gone way outside of the nerd game scheme here, man.
The main thing is that Microsoft fired a bunch of DEI people, not all of them, and they're not done. Yeah. They're not done. There's no way they're done. They're going to hit a couple more of those
They
teams.
fired DEI people who immediately decided to start talking shit, which means they fired the right people. Good job, Microsoft.
Which means they need to keep going. And you know me, I don't like people losing their job, but if this is the way you act, you ruin my ability to have sympathy.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
If you're going to be unprofessional, then because here's why. Because that tells me you probably weren't being professional at work. And guess what? You know what unprofessional people at work do? They do messed up stuff like be big. They do the bad stuff. Because you're unprofessional, you usually do the bad stuff.
There was a party that I worked with at some point in my lifetime that when I worked with them, the company bent over backwards in a lot of ways to accommodate them, and they had poor work performance. I mean, they weren't showing up to work a lot of times, stuff like that. So they got fired immediately. They got on every job rating thing and started talking about how horrible the company was and mean to them. And that's the problem when you bend out, do the extra mile because of some quality that has nothing to do with somebody's work performance. Those aren't the people you want.
When you reward bad behavior and don't enforce standards, this is what you get.
Yeah.
And when you don't enforce standards, you can actually end up coloring demographics poorly, but it's not that they're not good performers, it's that you hired the sorry ones. But you hired nothing but the sorry ones. Yeah. Because guess what? When you get the sorry boss in, he hires his sorry friends and his sorry associates and his sorry significant other, and they get other sorry people because they can't hire a good person. They'll make them look bad. And trust me, that's a real thing. All three of us, Anna Wright, Bloodaxe, there's plenty of places where people won't hire people they think will be better at the job than them and make them look bad because they're bad employees.
Yeah.
Hire a bad employee up here, it's gonna flow downhill, and they're gonna fill it in with more bad employees.
Well, enough of defending Microsoft for a choice, and let's talk about.
Let's attack them.
FTC claims Microsoft's Game Pass has degraded. Microsoft insists it isn't the case. You upgraded your prices and you lowered the quality of your output. You failed, Microsoft. Come on.
And this is one where my boy Blood gets to weigh in because me and him have suffered greatly under this, where we have been waiting for a decent release of a game. And you remember back when we first got this and like great games were coming out all the time and it was only like $9.99 or $10.99?
We were singing praises to Game Pass when it first came out, dude. I mean,
and it's still not a bad value, but has it degraded?
I don't think it's a good value anymore, personally.
You're mainly PC too. Well, I won't lie, dude. It's so rare something comes out. But Bloodaxe, tell them what we find when we go looking, because we look regularly. We get together and comb that sucker.
The last 2 games that I've downloaded and played from Game Pass have been The Rolling Hills, which is a sushi making game, and Dungeons of Hinterland, which I immediately deleted after the first dungeon because of just how trash it was. And I guarantee you nobody in our audience has heard of either one of those 2 games. And even the games we were looking forward to, Redfall, fail. Starfield, fail. We finally got Darktide a year later, and by the time it came out, not many people were still playing it anymore. Now with this new service, they have 2 tiers, but even the bottom tier is still 50% more than what we were paying 3 years ago for it. And the games that are coming out aren't your AAA games. They're not even B tier games. They're like $4 or $5 you can get off of Steam. So the value of having choices is minimized because the choices are crap.
Some of these games even bombed like before they came to Game Pass. They're literally games that bombed, like the Nickelodeon Brawl, All-Star Brawl. Games that actually bombed, and then they come to Game Pass. You're like, but this game bombed. Like I already knew it was a bomb before it came to Game Pass.
And a good chunk of them are on Sweet Baby Inc.'s list, which we're not going to play just based on pure good conscience. I mean, Callisto Protocol, heavily touted game, came out 6 months later. It was because people weren't playing it. It wasn't a good game.
Yeah.
Flintlock, we're not going to play based on pure principle.
Well, no, it's also got a 2.5. It bombed.
Yeah.
It stutters. They say it stutters. It has issues with the gameplay.
Now, Savage Planet, fun game. We played it 2 or 3 years ago. But now they finally got the DLC that's 2 years old, and I'm not going back and try to relearn that game again.
And it's a little cheap indie game. But also, Bloodaxe is a cheap indie game. It's not a top tier game, dude. It's like a $20, $30 game.
Right, but it was a fun game.
Yeah.
But even the new ones, because I download probably a good 30, 40%, if not half, of the games that come out on Game Pass just to give them a try. Because if I find something I like, I'm going to hit you up and we're going to play it together. I haven't found anything that I liked. Hell, I barely got through the prologue of Callisto Protocol, and now I'm in the prison, and I'm like, dude, this is a boring game. It's clunky, it doesn't move very well, and I'm bored. So now you know what I'm playing? Lego Star Wars, because there's nothing good on Game Pass right now.
I'll be honest, dude. Looking at the recently added, I have not even the last game I played on here was City Skylines, which ended up being horrible. City Skylines 2 when it came out, it was a pretty rough release. Now I keep saying I'm going to go back and try it again, but I don't know if I'm going to keep my Game Pass for that long, because apparently they have fixed some of the stuff. I mean, we got the latest game on here. Claims to be like a $50 game, but it only has 11 hours.
Yeah, I was going to try it, but
it's
so short. I'm like, dude, 11 hours? That's 2 evenings, man. I don't even know if I want to bother now. It's that short.
And I mean, it's 17 gigabytes. That's actually a decent size. I mean, Flintlock, I thought was supposed to be. I mean, it's a full price game, supposed to be like a
Souls.
No, I guess it's not a full price game.
No, they don't do full price games. They do cheap crap on Game Pass.
It's only 16 gigabytes install size, and people are claiming it's 11 hours with main and extra, and 16 hours if you're completionist. 16 hours as a completionist.
And now go back to the main screen. Like, here's an example. Like, back when we were growing up, there were games, whole top row, one major studio of Capcom doing a game, something new. Second row, nonsense, except for EA Sports. Third row, nonsense. Callisto Protocol, a game that failed. The other games, you don't know them. That Still Waters Wakes from Deep is a horror game that's really short. Then last row, Octopath Traveler, old Square Enix games, not the big ones, not Final Fantasy 16 or Advent or whatever, none of the new crap. And then Rolling Hills, Fireworks, Humanity. Lords of the Fallen is the best thing on this list, and Lords of the Fallen is an older game that was so-so. The main reason we're enjoying it is because me and Bloodaxe can play it together, but it's a $29 game right now.
Yeah, but at least it's got a decent amount.
It's the only full-length game on there.
Yeah.
So it is degraded is a fair word because me and Bloodaxe, because here's the thing, that's just recently. Me and Bloodaxe for the last, 6 months? We have been going to Game Pass together, trying to find something to play, and literally nothing of value. It's all indie games, mini games, or games that by the time they hit Game Pass, it's a game that failed. Like, this game was considered trash, it didn't sell, now it's on Game Pass. They're not putting out hits. They're not even grabbing old hits. When it comes to what they've been adding, I think I said, didn't I tell you, Bless? I said it takes them 3 or 4 months to put out one game that's playable.
Yeah, and then I even went looking for some of the old Call of Duty games to play, just go through story mode, and they're not even on there. I'm like, well, you own the studio, at least put those older games on there so I can play them.
Dude, the best games they have are games they played back when it was good that we liked, like the Star Wars and Gears 5. Like, dude, we play the stuff they put on years ago more often than we play the stuff they put on in the last year.
Yeah.
So,
but no, I did download Path of the Goddess, and I will give that a try. But like you said, it's a 16-hour game.
I mean, I've been playing FF14, so I will keep doing that to get my money's worth out of that month subscription, and then probably cancel it. But, I'm using it to fill the time, hoping it'll buy Game Pass time to put out another game. But I'm not saying I think Game Pass is a terrible deal. It is for Xeno, but Xeno's on PC. He gets even fewer games than we do. And he doesn't play the co-op games. So me and Bloodaxe still gets a value. I mainly get it because of the family plan. If they ever ditch that, like I said, they're out. But my kids play the old. And by the way, kids, they play the old stuff. They don't play the new stuff. They're playing the old stuff. So the stuff they're putting out now, none of my kids are touching. And me and Bloodaxe, man, what do you want to do, man? Let's go jump on Grounded. Let's go jump on Gears. Let's go jump on Lords of the Fallen. That's what we're playing. And Lords of the Fallen, we don't play as much as we play Gears. We have a way better time playing Gears. Get a good scholar, we have a great time. Dude, that's one of the oldest games on Game Pass. So it's like, has it degraded? Yeah. But they're going up in price while giving you nothing but trash games. But they keep promising you. The reason we're still here, though, is they did the Expo. And they've had all these amazing games, all of them day one. None of them will come out.
Black Ops 3. I mean, these are games that we will play when they eventually come out. But that's like October. At the early.
And guess what? They're increasing the price in September. So you're going to start paying more before they start releasing the games. They kind of need to hold this price off until December, where I get at least 3 or 4 of the Expo games out. Because the only thing that came out was Flintlock, the one that we all tagged as probably being the least interesting. Yeah. We were right. Dicejunkies was #Dicejunkies were right again. And the ones that we thought looked really promising haven't really hit. Like, really promising. And we're like, ooh. Dude, some of those aren't until 2025. So they keep promising you these amazing games. How long do we wait for Darktide?
Over a year.
They promised us Darktide. We kept it waiting for this co-op game. Took over a year to come out. So is it degraded? Yes. Is it even a value anymore? Honestly, you don't have other people that on your family plan where you've got you're at least got it on, you've done the thing where you can pick another Xbox that can get full access. No. The only reason I can do it is I'm considering I'm splitting the price. I'm getting it on 2, and the other person, my boy Jonathan, he's playing the heck out of it. He's getting money value for both of us. That's how it's working, is he's getting the money value for both. He's on it every day. If it wasn't for him, like I said, if they cut that out and say you only get one Xbox, they're done. It's trash. It's literally trash if you're doing it on one system. Find a friend or somebody. If you got, I don't care what I'm saying. Find somebody to give your access.
I think you can play with each other if you're sharing. Because I think,
yeah, it does something weird. Well, no, it depends on the game. If it's an online game like Fortnite or whatever, yeah. But you're right. It might say that you only have one copy of the game. I think it does do that. But find someone else to play.
Because my 14-year-old downloaded Grounded when we played Grounded together. And,
Okay.
And Gears, because it shows you as the digital owner, and that's your home Xbox, but you're signing someplace else. So even if you bought a game digitally, you can both play it together.
Okay.
Cool. That's good news, and that gives it some value back. But honestly, you need to be splitting your Game Pass with somebody. I'm sorry. That's just, it doesn't really have, like for Xeno, doesn't have value. He needs to go find one of his nephews or something and be like, yo, go log onto your PC or Xbox and go play some games. Because you're not, I will now say, because they're charging twice as much. To me, Game Pass is a great deal at somewhere between $10 to $12 right now. It's a terrible deal over that, and it's almost double that. So, no, it's not a great deal, except that I'm splitting it with somebody, so I'm still considering it like I'm paying $10.99 a person. That's the only way I can kind of, that and Bloodaxe won't get a PC. So, like, I can't get Bloodaxe on the Steam. Because Bloodaxe ever gets on a PC, we're going to start sending him Steam games. His little box is going to be full, and we're going to play everything. We're going to be on it, yo, man. Plus, Steam does free demos, man. We can try stuff out. They do free demos all the time, Bloodaxe, where you can go try a game and try co-op games.
I remember when Xbox used to do that once upon a time.
Yeah.
Man, that was back in the days of black and white. Like, I think we were black and white. Like wasn't even color in that time.
Still black and white, but anyway.
True, but I was just cracking a time joke. But yeah, that too.
Yeah.
I know.
Oh, last up we have a follow-up on the Concord. Last week we talked about their closed beta.
Which was only for the people that pre-ordered it.
Yeah. They had their open beta this week.
Which clearly is going to do better, right?
Yeah, right.
Free for everybody?
So yeah, we're looking at numbers. Didn't increase much. I mean,
look at that, Bloodaxe. You see that? Look at those numbers, man.
You had 1,124 peak with the closed beta, and 2,388 peak with the open beta, and it went down quick.
It's like, wait, are you on the right one?
Yeah.
Oh, that looked different when we looked at it a minute ago.
Well, no, this is the peak.
The 1,300 peak.
So if you look at the actual numbers, it's
you look at it before, it spiked way worse on that first day. Are you sure? That looks weird. That did not look like the one we were looking at.
This is just talking about the peaks.
Oh, not the actual. That's the one where it like dove almost. Dude, that's not even more than an hour or two that dove that bad. Like, that is people logged on and a lot of people logged off.
Yeah.
And I mean, that is just what shocked me is that that's in the same day. That means 2 hours in, people were dropping that game at a rate I've almost never seen. I mean, look at that. That's only about 2 hours of gameplay. That means people turned it on and uninstalled it shortly afterward.
They pulled a Bloodaxe, yeah.
Yeah, they pulled a Bloodaxe, man, and were down. And the reason this is wild is these type of shooters are usually free. Like Fortnite, Overwatch, Apex Legends. They're usually free. They want $40. They're usually free. How bad is this game? You saw what happened when it was free. This game's going to bomb because they couldn't get people to play it for free. They're definitely not going to get people to pay it for $40. In fact, I'm pretty sure after that closed beta, some people were trying to close their thing, and you can cancel a pre-order because you haven't played the game yet. You can cancel a pre-order on Steam. There probably were cancellations. I would not be surprised if they lost a large chunk of those pre-orders. If not then definitely now. Because I watched people playing the open beta, and they were taking 2 to 3 minutes to start a match because they didn't have a lot of people. When you're already up to 2 or 3 minute wait times, dude, I don't know if it takes us much longer than that to start a match of Gears if we're not too picky. You know what I'm saying?
You can get a Gears 4 match started in less than 3 minutes.
So this game's dead. Because you got to think about it. In its optimal scenario, free. In its optimal scenario, it on Steam hit 2,300. Even if you say it hits that or double that on PlayStation, obviously it didn't. But let's say it matched that. That's still under 5,000. That's no copy sold, man. That's not making your money back. That you lost money. This is going to hemorrhage money. And that's us comparing this to free numbers. Actual sales, this game only sell 4,000 or 5,000 copies, man. And that's insanely bad. So this is bad. This is really bad. This game is going to die. And it's amazing how people have games nowadays that are dead before they come out. I don't want to even get into it. We know why. They make the same bad calls. And it's to the point now where it's not even a question of if it's a bad call because your game fails before it comes out. So I don't know what's more evident than your game's already a failure and you haven't released it because you decided to die on a hill and you died before you got up the hill. You didn't get up the hill. You halfway up the hill, 2,300 feet. That's how bad it is.
You know what they're going to do?
Blame everybody.
They're going to blame the fans.
Yeah. It ain't no fans. That's the funny part. They're going to blame the fans, and this game doesn't have fans. But you do know, it does show one thing. It shows why they like to use existing franchises because, man, when they try to make something new and they go a certain way with it, man, does it bomb. So now I actually have to take something back. I still don't like it because I'd hate when somebody does something I'm a fan. But from a business perspective, it would have peaked out at 5,000 or 6,000 if it was a known franchise.
Oh, yeah, I mean, anytime you already have a built-in fan base to shit on later.
Because they'll at least look, though. They're going to come see what you got. But they couldn't even drum it. But I can't believe they want to sell this game and they couldn't give it away. That is just incredible, man. Honestly, if you want me to be real, they need to cancel it. No, it's gonna lose more if they put it out. I know that sounds crazy, but it does cost money. They're gonna lose more if they put it out.
They should cancel it and use it as a tax write-off to at least recoup some of that money.
That's why they should write it off.
I will say, if they don't get enough players, the upkeep of the live service may cost them more than just canceling.
And with them promising they're going to put out character story videos every month, I think, that's going to kill them, dude. That's going to be just hemorrhaging money for a few hundred people. It's going to be terrible. Honestly, they need to write it off. PlayStation needs to just say cancel it, write it off, do something else. Or go grab characters from the other franchises and let you play Kratos. They better just start throwing Kratos and Spider-Man in there, and do that because that's their best bet. And honestly, the way that game is played, you could put Kratos in it because it's all over the dang place.
Yeah, it is.
It is a weird playing game, man. They did not try to balance anything. I watched one dude solo a whole team. That's how bad the balance is. The guy even said, it was a guy who was playing it. It was one of the reviewers and a streamer who plays shooters. Is an Overwatch guy. He died because he got a bad character. He picked a character, got stomped. And he said, oh, don't worry, this guy can take on the whole team. The guy killed all 5 of the other people with his character. And he wasn't that good. He just had a freaking Superman punch on the ground. It was an area effect and a high-powered rocket launcher. So he's jumping around, and he gets a rocket launcher as a base weapon. He's just blowing everybody up. And then when they got close, he would go, boom, and just kill them. And I was like, well, hell, you might as well have Kratos. You ain't got no balance in this game, man. This dude destroyed. Now, I will say, if you want to cheat, this game, picking certain characters is just cheating. And there is a small part of me that wanted to go to open beta and just only play the most broken character and then just beat everybody and go, GG, this game sucks. And then just do that over and over. By the way, they also have, you want to know another rule they have? Just tell you something to know why it probably isn't popular? Now, I just told you about how each character has their own specific weapons and powers that's very unique. Guess how they do their rounds? You're not allowed to pick the same character twice. You have to switch your character in between each round. You cannot play them 2 times in a row. So if you like a character, you literally cannot play them.
Well, that means your strategy wouldn't work. You couldn't play the overpowered character.
No, you quit.
You'd have to.
And by the way, you know what happens if you quit? They're screwed because it doesn't have dynamic player entry. So once a match starts, if someone quits, you're just 4v5. By the way, the guy who did this, they were 4v5 and they won. That's how broken the character was. They also were 4v5 and the other 3 players got killed.
All right.
So the game's also badly designed. It isn't always about the politics. It's also bad.
What you got, Blood?
I mean, how many times have we gotten a game to where we wanted to learn, whether it be Smash or Street Fighter, and by learning the character, by playing them repeatedly over and over again, you got better with them. You can't even get to learn the character, but you got to keep changing every single match.
Can't even get 2 solid rounds in a row, yeah. You got to learn a minimum of 2 characters. You have to. Luckily, there's at least 3 broken ones. So you can cycle.
Yeah.
That's a bad idea, especially when they have the like one death and you're out. So when you're forced to play the character you're not that good with, you're just sitting there because you get whacked at the start of the match. Yeah, it's not fun. Like a lot of people said, it tends to not be fun because it's bad game design on top of that. And that's the problem, is that it's a bad game too. Like the other stuff isn't as big a deal because guess what? I played games that I don't like the way they look. I don't like the characters, but god dang it, they were fun. I've most definitely done that plenty of times.
Like Army of Two. Army of Two sucked, but you got to play with your friends.
God, Army of Two, man, was fun, but not for any of the right reasons. It was just stupid fun. The characters were corny and silly. And you're air guitaring, man. Your gun, it was dumb.
Yeah,
but it was fun.
Yeah, you miss out on that because it's just you had fun playing with your friends.
Dude, Marvel Ultimate Alliance, back in the day when it was the top-down view and you ran around your character. Dude, your character was this big. The game wasn't really that great, but you got to play your favorite hero with your friends.
Up to 3 of your friends, so 4 of you on the same time, yeah.
Yeah. Man, me and
my boys all got together 2 years ago, and we played it all over again.
Okay,
man. Play bad, but I can play with my kids, and they can play with Spider-Man and Wolverine, and just had a ball playing with Marvel
Hulk,
superheroes.
Venom, Luke Cage was in it. Luke Cage, Sweet Christmas. They had to hear that a lot when I was playing that game, dude. And Luke Cage wasn't the best character, but he was to me. I had fun playing Luke Cage, and with my friends. It's amazing what you can do by just being fun. All the other stuff, dude, Borderlands 3 had one of the worst campaign stories ever. We played that thing like it was made out of the cure for cancer. We and Bloodaxe logged some frigging hours in Borderlands 3 and beat the main story over and over and over. We would reset or make new characters so we could go through it again, just so we could get to the awesome DLC. We hated the main story, but we wanted to get to the DLC, so you would play through the campaign all the way again so that it would reset the DLC and you could play the DLC again. Oh, Flint, dude, your Iceman was bullcrap. Iceman was broken. But you know why? Because he acted like Iceman. He could freeze and slow even bosses.
Yeah, no, I remember. It was
but no, but you remember Flynn with Storm. Oh, no, you're right. That was Kitsune that played Storm and Captain Marvel. They were immune to elemental damage. We fought Pyro. Let's tell a fun story. Pyro, the fire user, we had to fight Pyro. He killed everyone else in the party. Mark/Kitsune was playing Storm, and he had leveled up her element resistance so high that he couldn't hurt her. She was immune to elemental damage. So he's just frying and killing them by himself while we're like laid out. Hulk's over here like, and he's beating it because they allowed something as broken as for her to be immune to a boss. Heck, when we fought Black Cat, that was terrible. Were y'all with me? I don't know. I think you were there for that one. Or was it Flynn? You remember Black Cat? They didn't make her a heavyweight. So I could grab her with Hulk and throw her around. The rest of the party just watched me beat the crap out of Black Cat with Hulk. That was fun. It wasn't balanced or good game design, but it was fun.
All right, we're going to wrap up there, guys. Thanks for watching. Be sure to go to Dicejunkies.com where you can find links everywhere we're online, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, Facebook, all that good stuff. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell on our YouTube channel. And as every week,